Wolves have recorded their first win of the season by beating West Ham 3-0, their first win since the 26th of April. But does that win suggest that Wolves can begin to click and push on and maybe even survive relegation? Or is it more a damning testament of where West Ham are? The 20th place Wolves side lined up in a 3-5-2 shape against Nuno Espirito Santo's currently 18th placed West Ham's 4-2-3-1. The most interesting thing about Wolves' system has to be their midfield three, with Gomes in the first half and André in the second half at the base of midfield, supported by summer signing Jean Arias and young academy graduate Mateus Mane. In the first half, Gomes adopted a more advanced position, with André being used in a more reserved role in the second half. Gomes recorded 1 tackle and 1 interception, as well as 5 ball recoveries in just 45 minutes, with André making 2 tackles and 1 recovery. Both Arias and Mane had really strong performances with and without the ball. As a pair, they registered 3 shots on target, 2 passes into the final third, 1 successful dribble and 7 tackles. The Wolves back 3 of Santi Bueno, Mosquera and Krejci had a really strong performance, especially at limiting the opportunities for West Ham in the final third. We can see for the first goal that Wolves built with their back 3, with their defensive midfield in front as a pivot, allowing them to create triangles for passing lanes as well as to switch the ball from side to side and to exploit gaps in the opposition shape. We can also see that West Ham have a very aggressive shape, locking in man-to-man with their front line and midfield 3. For the goal, we can see that the 2 10s of Wolves are playing on different lines, with Mane dropping in to receive and Arias moving towards the front line, this being to split the opposition's midfield 2, creating gaps to play through the middle. For the goal, Mane receives with a lovely turn to get past Magasa and drive. At this point, we can see that Bueno and Chachua are both wide to stretch the opposition's shape, creating the gaps in the West Ham backline like this. The Wolves front 2 are split, with Tolo occupying the central channel and Kilman behind him, whilst Hwang is operating in the half space outside of Mavropanos, allowing him to create on the move and drive into the box. This angle again allows us to show the real gaps in the West Ham structure, with the gap between the fullbacks and centre backs, particularly between Mavropanos and Kyle Walker-Peters, which gives Wolves the space to exploit. When they get into the box, Hwang looks to deliver on his left a cross goal, finding Arias, the scorer, in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. They also had the runners of Tolu at the front post, Chachua at the back post, and Mane making a late run into the box. The second goal begins with the play on the left hand side, with Mane hugging the touchline, Hwang in a deeper position and Hugo Bueno in as an attacking midfielder. This rotation allows for Wolves to penetrate the West Ham midfield line, with Bueno picking the ball up and driving into the attacking wide area. This angle again showing the gap between Mavropanos and Walker-Peters being exploited. Bueno looks to deliver towards Tolu, who's wrestling with Scarrows towards the back post, but Bueno's ball in is too short, only finding Kilman, who can't control or clear the ball properly, leading to Mane getting across Magasa before he can clear it, resulting in the Frenchman fouling the youngster and winning a penalty kick for Wolves, which was coolly converted by Hwang Hee-chan as he passed the ball down the middle of the goal. In the next images, we can see Chachua has the ball in the wide area, with Scarrows ahead of him. Again, we can denote the space in between Scarrows and Kilman. These areas between the left back in the centre half or the right back in the centre half being real areas of concern for West Ham. As the wing back beats his man, the gap isn't closed, as Potts could have slid over and shut off the space, instead opting to stay inside, which allowed for Chachua to deliver a cross into the box, which was blocked and put behind for a Wolves corner. Again, we can see that the Wolves runners into the box with the front 2 and Arias in the penalty area, with Bueno, who could attack the back post, and the holding midfield player on the edge of the box to pick up any loose balls. From the resulting corner, Wolves deliver, which was then cleared to the edge of the box and picked up by Gomes. West Ham are too slow to shut down the Brazilian, allowing him to play a clear cross into the penalty area, finding Tolu's head, who heads goalward, only stopped by an excellent save by Alphonse Areola. However, this again shows the frailty of West Ham's side and the lack of defensive intensity to win their aerial duels, put pressure on and stop the cross. The attack for the third goal begins with Hugo Bueno in the wide area in possession, but again, this frame shows Wolves' shape, with the wing backs wide, the pivot in the middle, the 2 10s in more advanced areas, with the front 2 high and offset, with Hwang being more in the left channel and Tolu being in the central area. Bueno carries the ball higher, Hwang moves into the attacking left zone, with Tolu on the right side of the attack, creating the space for the 2 10s to exploit through the middle. Hwang's run across Kyle Walker-Peters creates the space for Mane to receive between Mavropanos and Magasa. Hwang makes this move round the back of Bueno, creating more space for Mane in the final third in the half space. Mane has 5 yards of space between him and the nearest defender, allowing him to receive with a lovely turn towards goal. Mane reaches the edge of the box, driving towards Mavropanos, looking to commit the defender. The youngster then fires towards the near post. Lovely goal it was. Again, we see Bueno receives in the wide area this time in the second half, as the West Ham fullback looks to shut down the Spaniard. Bueno shows nice skill in the 1v1, beating his man and coming inside, driving towards goal. Once again, he skips past another West Ham defender, moving inside again as he beats the Portuguese attacking midfielder Fernandes, open up for a shot on his weak foot into the far corner, denied by Areola. In these next images, we can see West Ham in possession, looking to attack down the left-hand side as Scarrows has the ball. Wolves are now in a deep, tight 3-5-2 shape, dropping deeper into a 5-3-2 shape to defend the box as Somerville picks up the ball, looking to drive towards goal. West Ham get the ball to the edge of the box, breaching the Wolves midfield line, finding the feet of Callum Wilson. But this is where we can really see the numbers that Wolves can get back behind the ball to defend the box, with their back five really tight and narrow to force West Ham wide and away from goal, or to block the shot. As the ball goes wider to Kyle Walker-Peters, we can see that the Wolves backline shifts across and gets even more players behind the ball, forcing West Ham back for a pot shot from Macassa from over 20 yards, which flies over the bar. Just a look into the stats from the match. West Ham had dominated possession with 67%, registering nearly double the amount of passes Wolves did. But Wolves won the game in both boxes, having 11 shots with 8 on target, compared to West Ham's 6 shots total, none of which being on target. I understand that some people don't like the use of XG, but Wolves had an XG of 1.87 versus West Ham's XG of just 0.25, with the home side registering 3 big chances in the match, scoring 2. If we just look at the shot locations, we can see that Wolves had 8 shots in the box compared to West Ham's 4. In conclusion, for West Ham, this could be just another poor performance on a string of poor performances. No wins in the last 9 matches is relegation form, and to get out of that form, they will need their new signing Tati Castellanos and Pablo Felipe, as well as key players like Bowen, Paqueta, to fire them to safety. The real question for West Ham is the manager the right man for the job? And the even realer question is, will any manager be truly successful with the same people in charge of the club? But that's a question for another video. For Wolves, this could be a clear turning point in the season. They can continue to improve and pick up points with 18 matches left of the season to go. 6 points from 20 matches is obviously still awful, but with Burnley only on 12, West Ham on 14 and Forest on 18, could we see one of the greatest escapes in Premier League history? Probably not.